Hey guys, it's Nicole and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share some Cattleya orchids that I really enjoy growing. These kinds of orchids that I'm showing you here are extremely vigorous. They're very easy to grow and they're really rewarding. What I love about them is that they root very easily. The root system on all of these is quite extensive, even for the seedlings that I'm going to show you. And I just find them a pleasure to grow. Whenever I have a Cattleya orchid that blooms off every new growth, I tend to be pretty happy. And what all of these have in common is that they're crossed with the Richard Mueller. Now I love the color on all of these. It's got a beautiful yellow color. It adds a lot of vigor, and it's a very popular hybrid that is crossed with a lot of other orchids. So I'm going to walk you through my collection, show you what I have, and share why I like this orchid so much and why it makes these orchids so nice and vigorous. If you guys like this kind of video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more orchid content. With that said, let me show you more about the Richard Mueller. So the Cattleya Richard Mueller used to be known as the Richard Mueller. This orchid is a cross between the Brassavola nodosa crossed with the Cattleya Millery. Now that Cattleya Millery used to be known as the Laelia Millery. Now that is a Rupiculus Laelia from Brazil. The Rupiculus Laelias tend to be quite small, and that adds to the element of this orchid being nice and compact. So when it's crossed to other orchids, most of them tend to get that smaller, more compact size, which is really nice. The Brassavola nodosa is fragrant, and the Cattleya Millery is not fragrant. However, I find that a lot of the crosses tend to be fragrant. Now these crosses together make a really nice yellow kind of orange flower, and the lip is usually spotted with red spots. I find it very pretty, and I just find overall that it adds, this cross adds a lot of vigor to a lot of the plants that it is crossed with, and I find that the root systems are just really nice. So let me show you a couple of orchids that I have crossed with the Richard Mueller. So this cross is a relatively new addition from Better Grow. It was a bag baby. It's the Richard Mueller crossed with the Cattleya triumphans. I got this orchid maybe a couple of months ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and it doesn't look like it has many canes, but the root system on this is insane. So I had to put this into a 7-inch self-watering pot. When I received it, it did not have that new growth, but now it has a sheath. Now the Cattleya triumphans is a larger Cattleya orchid, so crossed with it, it is one of the larger Richard Mueller hybrids that I do have. So the influence from the Cattleya triumphans is strong, but I expect this orchid to be very vigorous. Just seeing that sheath there, I know blooms are going to be coming soon. If it's not in this growth, it's going to be on the next growth, but I'm really looking forward to that beautiful flower. It's going to have a very beautiful lip, and the spotting is coming directly from the Richard Mueller hybrid. And this is a nice one. The root system is just insane for the size of the plant, so it's very vigorous. Next orchid I'm going to show you is one of my favorite hybrids. So this one is the Cattleya Powella Spots. This is a cross between the Cattleya Sunspots crossed with the Richard Mueller. I really love this orchid. It's fragrant. It's got beautiful bronzy leaves. It sort of starts out green, but then brightens to a very bright spotted yellow. And the lip has that signature Richard Mueller red spotted lip from the Richard Mueller parent. What I like about this orchid is that it is extremely vigorous. It's bloomed for me 4 or 5 times since I received it. So from every single growth, there are blooms. This roots extremely easily. I think I'm going to have to repot this orchid next year already. I moved it from a small 10-ounce cup to this much larger 5-inch deli container, which is more than double the capacity, and the roots are just really taking over. I really like it. As you can see, the new growth also has a sheath. So this is a workhorse. If you're looking for an orchid that blooms constantly, you want a hybrid like this. A lot of times with species, you don't get that same sort of vigor. So this is one to consider. This is the Cattleya Powella Spots, and I got this one from Sunset Valley Orchids about a year ago. This is one of my faves. The next orchid I'm going to show you is insanely vigorous. This one is the Brassolalia Yellowbird, and it's a cross between the Brassavola nodosa crossed with the Richard Mueller. So this orchid actually has 75% Brassavola nodosa and 25% of that Cattleya Muelleri. And wow, I got this as a small seedling, and it is about 5 times the size of when I received it, and it has not been 2 years since I got it. I had to repot this orchid pretty quickly, so it bloomed, but it got root bound right away. And you guys know that orchids need lots of air gaps and lots of space, so I had to repot it. I had to disturb the root system. I did not expect this one to be so vigorous. I went from a 4-inch pot to a 6-inch pot, and it shows no signs of stopping. So it's now getting adjusted to my repot from 3 to 4 months ago. It hasn't bloomed in a while, but this is, if you want a vigorous orchid, Yellowbird is the one to get. Mine, unfortunately, is not fragrant. It did not take from the Brassavola nodosa parent, but there's lots of folks that have this orchid that do have a lot of really nice fragrance, and some of them are also much brighter yellow than mine. So you'll see a lot of variations from different places. This one I got from Hauserman, but if you get it from somewhere else, you might see a little bit more variation. But if you want an orchid that grows like a weed, check out the Brassolalia Yellowbird. I don't think you'll be disappointed. The next one I'm going to show you is a new addition. It's the Brassolalia Richard Mueller crossed with the Cattleya Mark Jones. This was gifted to me by my friend Vin, and this is a seedling orchid. I just repotted it, and what I really wanted to show you guys about it is that new growth that came in, it already has a sheath, and look how little this orchid is. So when I say that these Richard Mueller hybrids are vigorous, I really mean it. It's not only the root systems, but they tend to bloom quite young. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get a bloom on this orchid. It does have that sheath. It could be that it's just going to be a blank sheath, which happens when orchids are pretty young. But it could be that the next new growth is going to come in and give me good blooms. I repotted this 2 months ago, and the root system is establishing really well into the semi-hydroponic system. So I transitioned it from organic to semi-hydro, no issues. And I'm really excited to grow it. I'm a sucker for orchids that are spotted. So this one has the Richard Mueller and the Cattleya Mark Jones, which is also spotted. So I'll keep you posted on how this comes out. Next one is another Richard Mueller hybrid. So this one is the BLC Haiku Dawn. I actually saw this on Natty's Garden. This is a very beautiful one. This one's a cross with the BLC Golden Zell, which is another beautiful, beautiful Cattleya orchid. So it's a yellow orchid, and it's growing really nicely. So this one I got as a tiny seedling from the Tamiami Orchid Festival from Plantillo La Orquídea, and it's got 2 growths that have just pushed out after I repotted. They're coming out really strongly. I truly believe that these orchids are very highly adaptable. They can grow in different kinds of conditions, whether it's organic, inorganic, transitioning just from organic to semi-hydro, and I'm seeing really good results. This is just 2 months in this setup, so within like a couple more months, I'm going to have to change the setup. That's going to be full of roots, but I'm very excited to see this grow. I truly think that these orchids are extremely vigorous. Anything with Richard Mueller in it definitely gets more vigor. It gets more root growth. The blooms look really nice. If you're into yellows, if you're into some spotting on the petals and the lip, you're going to get that signature red dots on the lip. I think you'll really like this kind of hybrid. I'm looking to add more to my collection just because I enjoy how these grow and how they look and how they smell. And if you're new to Cattleyas and need something with lots of vigor, I highly recommend this one. Let me know down in the comments if you have any of your favorite Richard Mueller hybrids, if this is a big part of your collection, or if I'm just going crazy over this. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everyone.